Now this is a more challenging pre-AP style example. So here's my problem. I want to find x. So the first step is to draw out my triangles. I went ahead and drew the big triangle and the little triangle pieces. So this piece went over here, that piece went over there. Notice how they're still oriented the same. Next thing I want to do is mark my angle. See, that angle came from there. This angle went over there. So that'll help me keep my thing straight. Go ahead and label what we know. So this is x plus 2. This is 5. That's x. And let's see. Oh, I know this one is x plus 5. Right? Oh, and I also know that's x plus 2. There we go. All right. So I made sure to copy this over. Usually sometimes you'll have to copy it over twice. All right. And this one, it was kind of a combination. Okay. So, let's go ahead and color code. So first color I do is always my hypotenuse. Easy peasy. There it is. Right? The longest sides, the ones not touching the right angles. Then I'll start over here. I'll color this one green, which means, let's see, it's green and blue around that angle, blue and green. All right. Then I'll color the bottom side pink. So pink and blue around that angle, so blue and pink. Then I can fill in, although I don't really need to color them because there's nothing there, this side would be pink. I'll go ahead and color it just out of good habits. And then the other side would be green. Some people freak out. It's like, how can those be different? Well, on one triangle it's the smallest leg. On the other triangle it's the biggest leg. That's why they're different. Okay. So what are we looking for? We're trying to solve for x, all right? And one of these triangles we're not going to use. This one right here. I only have one side. Not very helpful. So we're not going to use this triangle, all right? I'm just going to use this triangle and that triangle. Right now on these two triangles, you can see the green has nothing on it. So that means I have a pink and blue proportion. I really like the color because a lot of times people will be setting up proportions and then they'll forget which one goes on top or bottom. Now if you orient every triangle the same way, then that's not a big deal. So here, this will be to this triangle, right? And this will be to that triangle. X plus 2 goes on top. X plus 5 goes on bottom. Here, x goes on top. X plus 2 goes on bottom. All right, so now I'm going to solve for x. Like before, remember we have our proportion. Next step is cross multiply. When you have more than one term, what you're doing is this times this. So that means that's x plus 2 times x plus 2. This is x. I always like to put the one with just one term in front. X plus 5 times x, or x times x plus 5. All right, the next step is the distributive property. Now some of you may use FOIL. I prefer the distributive property. And I'm going to rewrite this in a way you may not be used to. And not this part over here. This means I have x of these and I have 2 of these. If this had been 3 plus 2 instead of x plus 2, that would mean I have 3 of these and I have 2 of these. That would make sense because 3 plus 2 is 5, so I would have 5 of those. All right? So I'm going to kind of write it that way. I have x of these, so this went there, plus 2 of these things. Now that I have it written with one term in front of the parentheses, distribution gets much easier. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Now I'm 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. These can be combined like terms. Now, usually when you have these polynomials with x squareds in them, you want everything on the same side. So I'm going to take this x squared off of here. So I have to subtract x squared from here. If I do it there, I have to do it there. So now I just have 4x plus 4 equals 5x. And I can say, I always like, now that I see it's a pretty simple equation, I'm going to subtract the smaller amount of x's from both sides. So 4 is x. So that is my solution. The only thing that really made this problem difficult was this distributive property. It's really not that bad a problem.